Sadness now, sir. What is that? Huh? What's it? Let nobody come in, huh? 2 minutes. Hello. Alright, guys. So as mentioned, just now we are starting on a small bit, just about 1 minute again, and then we will begin. And with respect to that question, revolving around that course, we initially intended to actually start that have that released by last weekend, but there are a little fine tuning we're doing. And yes, to Michael, yeah, Michael. Once you're a subscriber to Excel with us, to SEA Math Mastery, you definitely will get that free. There is no charge for that. All right. It's an add-on. It's an extra course on productivity. This is what we're doing. This is just one of the webinars we'll do. And right, it's just connected to the course. So yes, to answer your question. By the way, those of you who have just joined us, we're starting in about 1 minute. I'm not sharing my screen as yet, so what you might be seeing right now is a blank screen. If you can hear me, I'd like to get from all of you, if you can. Well, not all of you. I think we already established that I can be heard as long as one of you on that is, as long as sorry, one person is hearing me, then I'm fine on my side. That's the nice thing about tech. It's easy to test. All right. So if you're not hearing me or not, if you're not seeing my screen as yet, it's because I'm not sharing my screen as yet. But you should be able to hear me. If you can, just type yes in the chat box. Let me just get a gauge of who can hear me. Type yes. There's a chat box up to your the top of the screen. If you move your cursor around, you should see Q&A or Q&A button. You click on that, and then you type yes or Y if you're hearing me. All right. So I think some people just joined the room, and right. Yes, we are live. Dominic asking if this is live. This is live. Time is right now is 8:01 p.m. All right, and we are starting in a few seconds. And so of course, today is Saturday, 21st, right, of January. So this is live, and I'm seeing all of you who are on the webinar. Thanks a lot for joining us, all of you. All right, it's not a packed house, as packed as I expected today. A lot of people registered aren't joining as yet, but still quite a bit of you. Okay, thank you, Sherlan, for that confirmation. Thank you again, Dominic, Michael. Thank you, Geeta. Thank you. Right, great. All right, so let's begin. I want to start on time to respect those of you who are here on time. All right, and we should not be running for the full hour. We're going to see how it runs. But this session, by the way, do forgive any external noises that you might hear as we go through this webinar. This is not in the most apt environment for the webinar this afternoon or this evening, so do forgive me for that. So if you hear any external noises, do forgive me in advance. And all right, so let's begin. So that's just some introduction. Now this webinar, let me share my, 1 second. Let me just share my screen with you. Just give me a sec here. Just 1 second, guys. I just get this tech running. Share screen. Right. Right. So if you can see that my screen, could you see that? Become productive now. A proven system. Just give me some, right, thanks for the feedback. I got some yeses already. Great, thank you so much for that. Waiting for some more yeses from some of you. Could you all see that first screen? Become productive now. Right, I'm getting more yeses. Good, I'm just gauging to make sure that you're good on your side. All right, now this course is, as mentioned just now, it was built to help guide you, as stated down here, a proven system to make you stay motivated, manage your time, and get things done. Now we've been studying productivity. I've been studying that personally for quite a few years, and just to give you a very quick rundown, and I've studied and invested in probably the best courses in the world. Some of these guys, for instance, Todd Herman, he's validated by the Harvard University, and his program is actually validated by the ROI Institute. And of course, you have a lot of these people out there. Some of the courses and some of these gurus are scams, actually, because I tested them all. I've tested them all over the years. Anything that comes out new, we invest in it just to see what it is about. And again, we invested in the best productivity courses, and we pulled out. There's a sort of a mainstream lessons in there, in these courses are extremely powerful. And we, again, in our style, where we research material and pull out stuff to make a sort of a hybrid, we created Become Productive Now. So it's still in the making, and it's taking some time to produce. Again, because we are pulling from these. Now, mind you, if you were to go to purchase, for instance, one of these courses, it will cost you thousands of US dollars. For instance, Todd Herman's course right now, it's closed. It's close to, or even Grant Cardone, those are close to, his is close to 14,000 US, right? That's the kind of price you're paying for these, because of the level of work that's done and the way it's done and the kind of theory that they go into. All right, again, we invested in them, and we, something that we continue to study, and we thought about putting this course together to help you students and adults, right? So both children and adults, there would also be a vision for adults to help you to become productive, to get things done, to stay motivated, to show you to manage your time better, right? And because it's a serious problem in school, in terms of, I've seen it on my website, SA Math Mastery, where they have students have all this material to work with, and for some reason they don't use it. For some reason they're not using it. For some reason they buy it, they don't use it. In classes, you go to the best lessons, and for some reason you're not improving. You're just not seeing that improvement, and there's a reason why, right? So when we saw that, we decided to just look into it closely, and try to find out why some students excel and some don't, and so this is what this course is about, and we're putting that out there to really, I think the root of the problem is really in being productive and learning how to learn, and this is what this is about. Become productive now. So there's a bit of insight into it. So let me get straight into this now, right? This is just one aspect of the course, which will be a very comprehensive yet simple to follow productivity / getting organized / getting, becoming successful course. Again, this is sort of a hybrid from resources that we are using and we continue to use to feed into this. Again, because there's a lot of fluff out there, and we're just dissecting and cutting away all the fat, and that's sort of creating a course that is really streamlined and that can help you guys. All right, so let's go. All right. Right. So my first question to you this evening, by a question from, now I will answer questions at the end if you have any. That's this question that Geeta is asking, if what time you've got it to finish. As mentioned just now, you should not run for the full hour. We should finish before 9. All right. So let's see how it goes. All right. The targeted time is to finish at 9 o'clock. All right. So I will not go beyond 9. So I can guarantee you that. Okay. So if you have to choose first choice, 3 million cash right now. Let's say let's a hypothetical scenario. You have to choose one of these. You have a first choice of 3 million in cash right now, right? I'm just using these figures because it's sort of mathematical. I want you to grasp a concept, right? And second choice, you have a single penny that doubles in value every day for 31 days, right? Tell me, which one of those would you choose? So if you want, just type in the chat box for me, first or second. You could type 1 for first and 2 for second. Which one would you choose? 3 million cash right now, or a single penny, which is like 1 cent, that doubles in value every day for 31 days? Tell me which one you choose. I'm seeing a lot of the ones coming in, a few of the twos coming in. Don't know why you're choosing 2, but we should look at that just now. All right. All right, great, thanks. Now, so a lot more ones and twos. A lot of ones still coming in, right? Let's give you 2 seconds again. People are still typing. All right, so just type 1. I'm seeing yes. I'm seeing yes from Dominic. I'm not too sure if yes means 1 or 2. You have to choose one, right? Choose one. So let's type 1 or 2. So again, as expected, most people would have chosen 1, right? Chosen 1 as the choice. I mean, 1 second. Right, so going back. Now, most people will go with the first choice, right? As we expected, we've done this test before, and I mean, it's a given that most people, if you are asked to choose 3 million against a penny, 3 million right now, then gauge yourself in 30 days. $3 million right now, first choice. Most people would go with that, right? And of course, they would say, most people would say, I don't care what a penny does. I mean, that's a penny. But I'm not going that route. It's a no-brainer. You have 3 million cash right now, and then you have a penny that doubles every day for 31 days. Which one would I choose? Again, most people would say it's a no-brainer. $3 million, of course, right? Now, that's where these people would be wrong. So those of you who said 1, and I'll explain why and how. So how are you wrong? When you choose 1, why would you be wrong? Now stick with me, and this is a concept I'm trying to get to you using this analogy, right? So using this analogy, I'm trying to get across to you a certain concept. Just go with the flow, right? So why are you wrong and how are you wrong? Now 3 million, right? 3 million with no growth will be that very same 3 million at the end of 31 days. Right, or it may actually fall in value over time, right? So over that 31 days, the 3 million, you might, you might use it to buy some things, or the value of the dollar may fall. So over time, the value of money falls, and again, if you have 3 million, that's all you had to your name. You may spend from it and so on in 31 days. So you will either have, with no growth, 3 million at the end of the 31 days, or you would have less than that. All right. So assuming that you didn't add to it, 3 million. And it wasn't growing, you would have 3 million at the end of the 31 days. Yes? Now, over the same time, right, so suppose you chose the 1 cent, right, piece, the option here, this option, second choice, a single penny doubles in value every day for 31 days, right? Suppose you chose that option. This is what I'm talking about here. Over the same time, you're doubling 1 cent piece, which is that second choice, right? Remember, it's doubling in value every day. would have grown to, and I want you to guess. Can anybody guess for me what in their mind 1 cent doubling in value every day for 31 days? What you think it'll be as high as 3 million? And do you think yes or no? You type Y for yes and for no. Do you think that'll reach as high as 3 million in 1 cent doubling every day for 31 days? Do you think? Tell me. Let's give me a feedback. Great, great. So all of you, a lot of you saying no. I'm seeing more N's than Y's. I'm seeing one Y, two, no, that's a no. That's one Y. Great, so I'm seeing almost all of you saying no. All right, and this is what it will grow to, right? This is what that 1 cent will grow to. And I did the math, and it worked out. It will grow to close to $11 million in 31 days. So you would have chosen the wrong option, right? You would have gotten a bad deal, right? If you had to choose, the second choice would be the one that you're choosing. Because in 31 days, that 1 cent doubling every day. Now, if I go to that, yes, that 1 cent doubling every day would grow to 11 million, close to $11 million. The exact amount is $10,737,418. Sorry, $10,737,418.24. That's the exact amount in 31 days. 1 cent doubling every day for 31 days. Now, that is because of a productivity formula. I will get to that very soon. And of course, that formula, most people don't know of that formula, right? They don't know about it. So, and that formula is the simplest. The key is taking small steps towards your goal over time, right? Small. Now, the thing is, you can't fathom, right? You can't fathom that amount, and I'll get to that. But that's the key, right? So you have the productivity formula we're talking about here. I'll tell you what it is just now. You may figure it out as you go through this presentation, right? But the key of this, of everything, of all the courses that we've taken, one of the main keys actually, or the main principles that I want you to take away from this, if anything at all, from this webinar this evening, is taking small steps towards your goal over time. If your goal is to write the SAA exam in a few months, or the CSEC exam and pass, or not just pass, but get A pluses, or get to your first choice, or get ones and distinctions, or if your goal is to build a house in 5 years, if your goal is to buy a car in 3, if your goal is to set up an emergency fund, if your goal is to something to become a better employee at work, or to do better in a performance appraisal next year, then you need to take small steps towards the goal, right? And it might sound very commonsensical, right, quote unquote, but it really isn't. All right, it's a process, and that's what this is about, this whole entire course. Now, once you're consistent, there's a snowball or compound effect over time. Now, I'll go into that, right? Once you take consistent steps, then there's a snowball or compound effect over time. Now, everybody nowadays talks about the multitasking thing, if you're a multitasker. And the latest studies, and it's beginning to be proven that multitasking is actually not good. We are not designed for that. We're not designed, our brain is not designed to multitask. All right, we're designed to focus on probably maximum 2 things. It's almost impossible to focus on 2 things at one time. But doing 2 things at a time, that is max. Doing 3 things is way too much. So doing 4 and 5 things is out of, it really kills your productivity. So the multitasking thing, it really is, again, studies are starting to show that it's reducing productivity. All right, you have to focus on that one thing, okay? So we talked about a compound effect, right? A snowball effect over time. Once you're consistent, once you're taking these small steps, let's say your goal is again to pass an exam, or your goal is to clear a storeroom, or to build something, right? Or to clean your bedroom, right? Taking small steps over time, small calculated steps, and there's a technique inside this that we may not get into this evening, but it's part of the course, and we do a different webinar um, to cover that. I will mention it at the end. All right. Now, the shocking reality of that compound effect is that it works either way, right? This snowball or compound effect may very well be why you're not progressing, improving, or getting anything done. So I just told you that if you take small steps, you'll get to your goal, right? So then you might ask yourself, well, why am I now telling you that it's causing you not to get things done? Because it also works on the downside, right? The strategy works like magic on the upside. If you let's say you have to build or to clean your storeroom, right? You go in there, you do a little bit every day. You have a time that you set out. Let's say when you get from work, you go into your storeroom at 6 o'clock, and for 15 minutes you would work and clear out a space. After 15 minutes, you stop, right? Every day you do that. Now, if you don't do that every day, our health, if you don't pay attention to our health, the smallest things, it adds up, right? So it also adds up on the downside. When you neglect, put off things, there's a compound effect on the downside. And I actually wrote an article about this for my company a few months ago. And it's interesting, very interesting theory. You do the right actions, small actions, it will eventually pan out to your goal, right? There will be a compound effect over time. Magically, at a certain point, everything will fall into place, right? And of course, if we neglect, if you just put off things, there'll be a compound effect, a snowball effect on the downside. Okay? The little steps you take towards a goal over time gets you great results, right? You have to take those steps, right? But if you put off or neglect, right? Little steps you put off or neglect over time result in misery, right? So think about it. Think about something that happened recently, some mishap or some accident. You got a flat tire, was it because of something you were putting off before? Was it because that you were not paying attention to certain indicators? Your mind is telling you, look, Anil, or check into this, check into that, but you just putting it off. You're just putting it off, right? And that is what's called the compound effect to the downside. On the downside, you put these things off, and this is what happens, right? Now, this is a simple principle of life, right? It applies to everything, and usually, again, it results in our own misery and our own mishaps, okay, our own stress. When we put all these things, again, relating to our work, our health, our school, our studies, when you put off an event, right? I draw a diagram on my board in my class, and little dots leading to a circle. I'll actually use a graph to illustrate that just now. But if you can picture it in your head, right? Your goal down the road is that big circle, right? But there's all these little dots inside it, like filling it up like a big ball, right? And the actions before that are the little dots, right? And these dots are falling into this ball to create your goal. If you forget a dot out, right? If you leave out a dot, one day you're tired and say, look, I wouldn't push today. I'll just sleep today. And you observe yourself, you begin to see it's a habit. And when you put off an event like that, you put off a small action, you're actually putting off success. You're putting off piece of your success, because that ball, when it fills up with all these actions, these little dots, it creates your success. When you put off an action earlier on, you're compromising your success later on the line. Do you understand that? Right? Now, it's hard for most of us to fathom or to understand the bigger picture or longer term situation. We all caught up in the present, right? All caught up in what's going on right now. And we're not long-term creatures. We don't look long-term, especially now, right? We are not born strategists, and we don't go long-term. So we sort of focus in, especially with all the distractions. Now, I want to get to that. We tend to focus on what's happening right now. Planning has sort of gone through the window. Right now, from what I've seen, the most planning we do in school is planning to write an essay. There's a plan to write an essay, a first draft and second draft. And strange enough, that's it, full stop. Planning stops after that. And that's really, really dangerous. And I want to change this concept by, again, introducing this and starting to teach people about productivity and planning from a very, very young age, because I've seen the results in my class. it's phenomenal, right? We're just applying a few of the concepts. Now, an outcome or goal, while it occurs at a point in time, is the result of many small actions. Those dots I was talking about just now, right? So if you can, I think I can draw it out. Oh yeah, I can. Let me just annotate it on your screen quickly. Right now, again, this is your goal up here, right? Like it's like a big ball, okay? And this has to be filled up with dots, filled up to the extent where you can't actually see any white spaces, right? And the more filled this ball is the higher the quality of your goal, level of achievement. And again, we will cover that just now. These dots actually filter into this ball over time. You have a dot here, dot here, dot here, dot here at different points in time. So this might be March. This dot here might be something you did in January. This dot here might be February. This dot might be something early in March. When you neglect a dot, you don't do one. It doesn't. So these dots float up into this goal, right? Let's say they're like little balloons. They have helium, right? They float up into here and populate this. When you neglect an event down here, you're compromising the quality of your goal, because time is something you don't get back. You can't make that up. And that's a very important concept I want you to understand. You cannot make up time. Time is not infinite. When you lose an hour, you cannot get it back. You cannot make up time, because all right, you say, all right, what I didn't do today, I would do tomorrow. But then the hour you were doing today, the stuff that you should have done yesterday, you could have been doing something else today. So you see, you can never make up time. When you procrastinate and you skip things and you don't use your time wisely, you can never get it back. So again, let me make that point. If I didn't do something today and I say I'll do it tomorrow, let's say I have something colored to do today for an hour, all right? And I say I'll do it tomorrow for an hour. I didn't make up anything. I'm still losing the time. It's still lost, because in that hour tomorrow I could have done something else. So we never ever make up time. We cannot do that. It's just impossible. So please, guys, you have to use your time wisely, because when that time goes, it doesn't come back. You can get back pretty much anything else in life, almost anything else. All right, but time is your number one asset and resource. So please use that wisely. Okay. Moving ahead. So an outcome or goal, while it occurs at a point in time, is the result of many actions, right? This is why you will hear some of the greats saying that success is not an event, but a journey, right? It's not an event, but a journey, right? So an event, some of the great people say that, right? The great scholars, the guys who study productivity, the guys that we study, right? All of them say that a success, while it might happen at a certain point in time, right? 1 second. Right? It